Queen got the good news the Mirror Online described as the perfect tonic as she battled coronavirus after her horse Kincardine won at Newbury Racecourse. The 95-year-old monarch is currently in isolation at Windsor Castle after Buckingham Palace confirmed she tested positive for COVID-19 over the weekend. The palace announced the news on Sunday, but she is thankfully only experiencing mild cold-like symptoms. She is said to have been fully jabbed and boosted with the COVID-19 vaccine and is expected to carry out light duties over the coming week. Of course, she is being carefully monitored by her staff as they take a sensible approach to her positive test, the Daily Mail reported. The palace is being cautious, but is not alarmed by her mild symptoms as she plans to continue with light duties this week. However, Her Majesty will have been boosted after odds-on favourite Kincardine stormed home in the 2.5 furlong maiden hurdle at Newbury. Nicky Henderson, trained horse, made all the running at odds of 4 to 6 to win by all round 4.5 lengths. The 5-year-old, who was also bred by the Queen, won a race at Southwell on his debut in May. Henderson excitedly told Racing TV, "I hope the winner puts a smile on Her Majesty's face. And I do hope she's not feeling too bad. We're all sad to hear Her Majesty has COVID. I don't know if that's COVID medicine, but I hope it is. I believe Kincardine has a bright future and he should make a nice chaser in a year's time. He'll want 3 miles and he's done well to win over this distance. He's not a 2-miler, but in these conditions, you've got to stay well." The Queen has celebrated 3 winners from 17 runners over jumps this season. "More about the horse," Henderson said. "We always knew it was going to be tough, and I didn't really want to come back to 2 miles with him. There was a pretty competitive race at Ascot on Saturday, over 2.5 miles, which looked nice and was an option, but we decided to go for this maiden. On this ground, it was far enough for him. It was hard work, but he enjoyed it and handled it well. This is only practice and he should make a 3-mile chaser. I hope he might be a rather smart one." The Queen has had an interest in horses from an early age and has owned many thoroughbred horses for using in racing. Her Majesty also hosts the Royal Windsor Horse Show in the grounds of Windsor Park. News of the Queen's COVID infection comes after a number of cases were diagnosed in the team at the monarch's Berkshire residence. It is understood the Queen was well enough to sign off congratulatory message to Team B's curling medalists at the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympic Games, writing, "I send my warmest congratulations to Team GB's women's curling team on your outstanding performance in winning the gold medal at the Beijing 2022 Olympic Winter Games, following the silver medal achieved by the men's curling team yesterday. I know that your local communities and people throughout the United Kingdom will join me in sending our good wishes to you, your coaches and the friends and family who have supported you in your great success. Elizabeth R." Although not fully recovered, the 95-year-old monarch still wants to fulfil online audiences and telephone meetings, with only one in-person event likely to be cancelled. But staff will keep a close eye on her as she is considerably thinner and frailer than a year ago and last week said, "I can't move," as she leaned on a walking stick. BBC reporter Daniela Ralph told the Today programme, "The mood from the palace is one of caution, but not alarm." She said, "There are a couple of obvious aggravating factors here. Firstly, that she is 95 years old, almost 96, and that immediately puts her in the vulnerable category. Also, when you see the Queen now, she is considerably thinner and frailer than she was a year ago, and of course, she will now have to be carefully monitored. Concerns for the Queen will be heightened given her age and recent health scare, but she is determined to carry out what tasks she can despite the virus." Royal expert Roya Nikar told the Today programme, "I think the signals that came out of Windsor Castle yesterday, which I think were quite deliberate in terms of us being told she had mild symptoms, us being told she was working on that statement, that lovely message to the curling team yesterday morning, was all trying to sort of calm our fears. I think the mood music coming from the castle that she expects to carry on with her engagements this week, all but one in person, which I think she'll cancel, is fingers crossed quite reassuring. We've been told by royal sources that there's been a bit of an outbreak. There has been a lot of talk about this HMS bubble around the Queen for a couple of years, which has been very successful. But I think long-term the Queen understood more than anyone it wasn't tenable to continue. It placed a huge demand of pressures on staff who had to isolate and be away from their families for a long time. So I think she was very sanguine about that and probably inevitably accepted that she might be at risk at some point. But fingers crossed, she'll be well. She's triple vaxxed and carry on. It has come thick and fast for the Queen in the last few days, weeks and months. She's had a rough old ride from her family. A lot of hassle in the year that should be celebratory, but on she ploughs. I was delighted to see that she would have probably had a little bit of good news yesterday with a winner at Newbury, which will have perked her up no end as she ploughs on with COVID. Ms. Nicar added, she's had a rough old time of it and on she goes, and I think she's a great example to her family. Meanwhile, royal expert Camilla Tomini told LBC, Buckingham Palace is saying that she's suffering from mild cold-like symptoms, and their statement yesterday very much played it down, said that she would be continuing with light duties. And actually a few hours after they released that statement, she sent her warm congratulations to the women and men's curling team over in Beijing. It seems as if there is this sense that it's business as usual, and once again she epitomises this keep calm and carry on mentality that's become her trademark. They've always been in a form of bubble. She's got her closest aides and they don't really change, and they've been in that kind of pared down system since March 2020, and the Duke of Edinburgh was enveloped in that. So they'll take every precaution. Equally, of course, she has access to the best medical care. There are some concerns about her mobility as far as her health is concerned. It was only on Wednesday that she received a couple of military visitors to Windsor Castle and basically told them she couldn't move and was quite uncomfortable on a walking stick. But again, as we all have to reiterate, she's 95 and it's easy to take that for granted. But she's got a very busy year ahead with the Platinum Jubilee celebrations. She isn't invulnerable, and care needs to be taken to preserve her health and energy ahead of what is going to be a jam-packed summer.